Let's talk about Alaska Mileage Plan Stopover Awards. So, one of the cool things about Alaska miles is that you could use them to book Alaska flights or partner flights and add a stopover, even on a one-way award for free, no extra points. So, I think that's awesome. But to be honest, I have no idea how to book one. So, looking to you, Nick. Tell me, how do you do this?
All right, well, let's take a look at how we can do that. So we'll start out by going to alaskaair.com. And so that's pretty intuitive and easy. But the part that's not easy is how do you book a stopover when you're looking at this main page? And the answer is you don't. So just below the date and the number of adults, there's a little link that says all search options. And you have to start there. You have to click the all search options in order to get to the multi-city tool. So from there, instead of picking round trip or one way, we'll pick multi-city. And now we can add in all the legs we want on a particular itinerary. So I'm going to show a pretty simple example that goes from Philadelphia to Dublin to start out. So Alaska partners with Aer Lingus, and Aer Lingus will fly that route. And so I'll put in that we want to depart Philadelphia on November 12th and stay in Dublin for a few days and then continue on from Dublin to Paris, let's say the Monday thereafter on November 18th. So again, you put in the city pairs that you want to put together, Philadelphia to Dublin, we'll make sure we get Dublin picked, to Paris, and put in your dates. That's as simple as it is. Number of adults you want. I'm going to stick with one. Make sure you have the use miles box checked up top here. You'll definitely need that. And then just hit find flights. And the Alaska tool is pretty good at this. Now, keep in mind, you can only mix Alaska and one partner on a particular award. So there are not opportunities, for instance, to mix American Airlines and Aer Lingus. If you found Philadelphia to Dublin on American Airlines, you can't yet mix that with an Aer Lingus flight from Dublin somewhere else. So in this case, since we're looking at Philadelphia to Dublin to Paris, the only option would be on Aer Lingus entirely. So with this particular award here, you have Philadelphia to Dublin, Dublin to Paris, and you'll see that there's this little icon to the right of the number of miles. It's 45,000 miles and $30. But that little icon to the right means that it's a mixed cabin itinerary. Anytime you see that icon, you're going to definitely want to click on it to see which leg of the trip is in economy class and which is in business. Because if we're going to pay the business class price, we don't want the Philadelphia to Dublin portion of this to be an economy class. And if it were only in business class for the second leg, that wouldn't be good. However, in this case, what you'll see is the Philadelphia to Dublin leg is indeed in business class, and Dublin to Paris is in coach. I think Aer Lingus only sells coach on that. I don't think they sell a business class cabin on that. So that's why it's a mixed cabin itinerary here. So for 45,000 miles, you'd get across the pond in business class and the rest of the way to Paris because, of course, Alaska allows a stopover on a one-way award for free. So it costs the same 45,000 miles that it would if you flew just from Philadelphia to Paris. Now, like I
That's
said,
really
you
cool.
can't, that is pretty cool. Yeah. And like I said, you can mix an award on Alaska, flown on Alaska, with an award flown on a partner. So let me just quickly show you what that might look like too, because that's also relatively simple. So let's say instead of starting in Philadelphia, you were starting in Boston. And so I'm going to bring that up here. Or rather, I'm sorry, not Boston. You are starting in Seattle instead of starting in Philadelphia. So if we started in Seattle and flew to Dublin, and I'm going to back things up by a day on that end of it, and then Dublin on to Paris. Like I said before, we can mix Alaska with one partner. So if there's an Alaska flight that gets us across the country from Seattle to one of the Aer Lingus hubs or Aer Lingus gateways from the United States, rather, then we should be able to put them together here. And you'll see that, yes, indeed, we still have mixed cabin, but you could fly for 70,000 miles and $30. You would be in main cabin from Seattle to JFK, and then business class from JFK to Dublin, and in economy class from Dublin to Paris, because like I said, I believe that's all they sell on that. So this again would be with the same length of stopover in Dublin. So pretty simple to put those together on your own.